Oh boy. I'm Jesse Coffey, and I've got a double bill dog of the week for you here. That's right, you're getting two dogs for the price of one, which isn't much of a price at all. My first dog of the week prize goes to Steven Crowder. That's right, the guy who on PBS Kids' now ended cartoon Arthur had from 2000 to 2001 voiced the brain and has long since lost his. The latest extract from his long-running talk show Louder with Crowder is a 10 years too late parody of the Baby Shark phenomenon titled Biden Farts. It relies on one joke, President Biden's flatulence, that takes a really fast period of time to get old. It's dragged out for just over 30 seconds. Let's hear it.
Biden farts, do-do-do-do-do, Biden farts, do-do-do-do-do, Biden farts, do-do-do-do-do, Biden farts.
Biden sharks do 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 do. Biden sharks do 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 do. Biden sharks do 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 do. Biden sharks with the poke do 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 do. With the poke do 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 do. With the poke do 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 do. Biden sharks with the Dutch do 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 do. With the Dutch do 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 do. With the Dutch do 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 do. Biden farts. Biden farts do 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 do. Biden farts do 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 do. Biden farts do 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 do. Biden farts.
And you've gotten the entire thing long before the end screen came up. I think there are a lot of ways I can find to say that this just isn't funny, but for now, I'll settle with one. This video is so bad that even Lana Loud of the Loud House, the 7-year-old who normally goes for the kind of humor presented in this video, would have turned it off after a few seconds out of absolute disgust. A more serious second of Dog of the Week prize goes to an organization called Focus on the Family, one of those Christian fundamentalist groups on the right-wing side of the political spectrum, for its series called Empowering Your Family to Face CRT. That's right, it's a video attacking critical race theory. For those who aren't already in the know about it, critical race theory is a legal theory proposed in the 1970s and 1980s by a group of scholars who wanted to determine which of America's laws were and were not racist, and the impact of the more racially centric laws on American society. Every far-righter and Republican operative in the world has weaponized CRT to try and destroy any and all efforts to try and educate children on the ills of racism, using every representative of a minority group they can find and manipulate into spouting absolute lies about what critical race theory actually is. And Focus on the Family, with its series of videos on the subject, is no exception. Here's a clip of Carol Swain being interviewed for this series. It's probably the most ridiculous nonsense about what it is.
Critical race theory doesn't come at you as parents and children as critical race theory. It's more likely to be disguised as educational equity. And how it impacts our children most directly, I would say, is that it divides the world pretty much into oppressed and oppressors, with white children and their families being included among the oppressors and non-whites as the victims. And so we start off in a situation where one group of children may be made to feel as if they are guilty or their ancestors are guilty of some crimes. And then with children who are minorities, it imbues them with a sense of shame in some cases, but they're seen as victims and as lesser beings depending on how lesson plans are presented to the children. And so I think it's very confusing, and it's not something that works very well for any of our children.
None of this is true. As I've already stated, it is a legal theory proposed in the 1970s that looks thoroughly at all of America's laws to determine which of them were and were not devastating in their social impact, particularly as far as minority groups are concerned. But no one on the right who's ever made anything about the subject of critical race theory is about to consider that, are they? If you've seen one of the far right's videos on critical race theory, and yes, I'm talking about one of them, you've seen them all. I'm Jesse Coffey.